Chain of Command is the 5th episode of Beast Wars, airing September 28, 1996. In it, we investigate the Standing Stones from the 2nd episode, but the Predacons attack, and then a Thane shoots out from the Standing Stones, summoning a pod which kidnaps Primal. Shenanigans ensue. The episode opens on our first really good shot at both the moons, proving that this is totally not Earth. And one of them appears to be eclipsing the sun, but the lighting is failing to show what an eclipse looks like. Like I said in the summary, this is the Standing Stones we saw in the 2nd episode. And going by the timeline, it apparently has been over a month before the Maximals remembered it existed. Kind of weird overhang here, you can see the blackness of what they didn't animate. The Predacons attack. I think this is the first time we see Optimus's shoulder cannons. The shot of Tarantulas is in the intro. Pterosaur blows up a Thane and summons a pod using the same transwarp portal effect from the 1st episode. We got our first reference to the stasis pods that the Axelon shot out in the 1st episode. This leads to another fight at the Standing Stones and Optimus getting kidnapped. This is our first time seeing the CR chamber in the Maximals base, which is like their healing pod. And the Predacons have a similar thing, but it's more like a hot tub they dip themselves in.
And Maximals don't have torture chambers. Although, I could get behind that idea.
We found you dumped in front of the command base hatch. Scrapped down and alone.
Well, that's uncharacteristically nice for the Predacons. I mean, they still stripped him down and robbed him, but, they at least dumped him at the base instead of just leaving him to die.
Just like an innocent orphan in a B-movie.
How does Rat Trap know about B-movies? And y'all should totally watch my reviews of B-movies. They decide to have a vote for who will be the commander since Optimus is missing. The candidates are Dinobot and Rat Trap of all people, which leads to our first major case of Scott McNeil arguing with himself. It's a secret ballot and it's never stated who voted for who, but you can definitely assume that Dinobot and Rat Trap voted for themselves. And given Rhinox's surprise at the tie vote, it implies that Rhinox voted for Rat Trap and Cheetor voted for Dinobot, which is oddly nice for Cheetor given that last episode he tried getting him killed.
Ooh, great system, your democracy. No mechanism to break a tie.
Like every election, this leads to a little bit of violence, but before it gets too out of hand, Optimus sends a message. This possibly is a poltergeist reference, given that he's sending a message and they can't find him. And he's in some weird beyond. The Predacons attack the base, completely ignoring the energon below so they can't blow him up without causing mass explosion. Dinobot can actually hold his own against Megatron in a fair fight. Even in the far future, the Maximals realize that duct tape is the most handy tool. This is the first time we see Rhinox's chain, mace, buzzsaw, machine gun thing. And this is our first time Waspinator gets torn to shreds in a comedic way. The pod opens and dumps Optimus out. There's some lesson about leadership being hard. And we see Totally Not South America. This is a really good episode. It begins our plot with the aliens, and establishes the intrigue with them enough. The action's really fun. And it's interesting seeing the good guys have a power struggle, which is something you don't really see in Transformers or really media in general. And it's interesting seeing the Maximals still not 100% on Dinobot's side, given that he's a former Predacon and he tried usurping power before. But honestly, it's also kind of weird that Rat Trap gets put in charge. I would have thought that Rhinox would be the obvious choice, because he's like the smart, no-nonsense one. It's really weird that no one's voted for him. And it's also super weird that the Maximals don't have a set second in command, but the damn Predacons do, and it's Scorponok of all bots. Seeing Dinobot and Rat Trap's love-hate relationship again this early, even though it seems a lot more likable than later, where they absolutely hate each other. And it's also really weird that the Maximals investigate the Standing Stones just to be surprise attacked by the Predacons 3 times in the episode. But overall, this is the best episode since the start. 8 out of 10.